Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Hit the ground running.
Absolutely. So I'd like for you to share with my brains, how do you show up in the world?
I show up in the world. I'm a mother of three sons, three grown teenage and adult sons, wife to Matt, who I actually met at high school when I was 14. And I've got a background in communication and teaching, but I've pivoted, and in the classroom of life now, I am teaching professional women, corporate women, to transform their lives through the modern day art of storytelling, which is keynote speaking, podcasts, and interviews with people just like you.
Oh, that's wonderful. When you say transform lives, that's what I consider one of those big $25 words. Transformation is very individualized because everyone has their own journey, they have their own experience, and they have their own destiny. How do you work with individuals to help them, number one, settle into who they are, to find out who they aspire to be?
Well, I found through my own experience, I went through cancer in 2009, pregnant with my third son, Tim. And through the cancer journey, I actually found that my story around cancer became my identity. About 10 years after that, I felt like I was still stuck in the past, like the pain and suffering from the cancer. And I just found it really hard to be present, to live. I'd been gifted to stay in this life, and I needed to stay present and stop worrying about the future, whether the cancer was going to come back. And I had to stop regretting the past and being in that old story. So through a shifting of perspective, for example, if your right hand was to hold your wounds, your pain, your suffering, the old stories, your anxiety, fear, and control, I like to teach women now to shift their perspective by actually finding the gifts, the wisdom, the tools, the strengths from the lessons that they've got from their life, whether it be through the death of someone, through any personal trauma, I guess, the loss of a business, a messy divorce, anything really where you're holding trauma in your body and you get stuck and you feel like you can't heal and move forward. That's my gift to you.
Well, we can really appreciate that. A lot of times, that old narrative keeps rerunning in our head. The stories that we tell ourselves, the shame, the anxiety, or the outside influences of others. So to be able to encapsulate that and to have the courage, because it takes courage, to step out and walk on faith, to see who we are, and to live our dreams. What would be some protocols or some steps that you would give people that would be under your tutelage to be able to move forward and to find those things in their life?
Hey, so I have pillars from an American author, actually. She's a medical intuitive by the name of Caroline Mace. And her pillars are grace, self-love, love, gratitude, and compassion. So I bring those into women's self-limiting beliefs, their stories that they hold in their body. And I get them to understand that words are energy, and the words that they use actually prevent them from moving forward in their life. Words actually carry an energy in our body, and they're a weight, they're a heaviness. And you know that when you're around negative energy, you feel heavy. And when you have that heaviness of energy in your body from a story that you are on a loop and you keep playing over and over in your body, it makes it really hard to move forward. So part of the process is turning that leaden weight into gold so that you don't have to wait, you don't have to wait anymore. You can move forward with a new story that will empower you.
Well, that's beautiful. You're using a lot of words, and let's talk about the power of words because, as you said, one of my favorites is gratitude. I am grateful for every little thing. We had a little kerfuffle on our way back from our trip where the fog was so dense that the plane couldn't land. And when we were detoured to another state, we got off the plane. Oh, people just, wanted to bark back and forth. And I said, you know what? Be grateful that we didn't have a crash or that the pilot had the sense to do that and to allow yourself grace. If you make a mistake or if you change your mind, you have a right to change your mind. Allow yourself that space and compassion. Love on yourself. Nobody is going to treat you any worse or any better than you treat yourself. So you have to look at those things. You take all of these great words, but not only do you do that, you put them in a salad. I call it a word salad, and you toss them around, and you come up with these beautiful stories. Tell us how you started the storytelling part of your journey in this transformation of helping women find themselves.
Okay, so I've been that person for as long as I can remember, mentoring and coaching others. I guess that's how I fell into teaching. And I guess the change for me actually has come in the last few years where I've really found that I've wanted to write. I write twice a day, sometimes more, and I really enjoy hearing other people's stories, and making them feel seen, making them feel heard, safe and valued. And I found that the more stories that I heard, the more I could see that we were all linked through either a grief or a trauma, through an event in their life, that people lead with their, for example, my strongest hand is my right hand, and we lead with our wounds, basically. The people that I work with come with an array of different stories and backgrounds. And I really wanted to be able to use storytelling as a way for them to shift their perspective and to rewrite that narrative.
You are an incredible writer, and you wrote some notes to me about our conversation and what we were going to talk about. And I just want to read something that just really kind of, I think, encapsulates what we're talking about. You said, being a modern day storyteller, I will explain to you your energy, your alchemy. As a storyteller, I don't just share my story, I listen deeply to the stories of others, honoring the energy and the wisdom that they carry. I think that is so beautiful because you're holding a sacred space for them. You're allowing them to blossom, you're allowing them to be free. How does that make you feel? And what gifts and talents that you have that helps another person bring that forth in their writing?
I think with storytelling, April, it's really important to be conscious of your words, and knowing that words hold energy. And so before I write, I always ground myself in the present moment. And then I find that I'm able to tap into the lessons, and we all receive lessons this lifetime. Lessons sometimes in adversity, sometimes around gratitude, sometimes around love, resilience, compassion, there's abandonment, there's all types of lessons that we're given this lifetime. And through storytelling, I'm able to help people, I guess, realize that things happen through them, not to them. It's very common for people to think in that negative headspace that why does all this happen to me? Why me? And I remember going through my own cancer journey in 2009, and I was really determined not to play the poor me card. I wanted to have some sort of control over a time when I had no control.
Jodi-ann, you were so gracious to include me in one of your creative stories. And I'd love for my brains to hear your texture, your thought process, and how you put these words together to create a symphony and to make me really feel special about myself. I started to blush. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to cut and paste this and keep this. Can you share with my brains a little short story that or synopsis that you wrote about me?
I would love to. So the sun hangs lazily in the afternoon sky, its warmth filtered through the canopy of an enormous tree where I sit cross-legged, grounding myself in the paddock. The air hums with life, a kookaburra's call echoes faintly in the distance, and rainbow lorikeet birds chatter in bursts of colour, their wings cutting through the stillness. Beside me, my chestnut gelding Jack grazes contentedly, his coat glintering copper in the sunlight, his tail swishing lazily to brush away the occasional fly. My two black labs, Macy and Scout, lay sprawled nearby, snapping half-heartedly at flies buzzing around them, their movements unhurried, as if they too are lulled by the afternoon sunshine. The smell of freshly cut grass lingers in the air, a gift from Imogen's hard work earlier in the day. The scent mixes with the earthy sweetness of damp soil, still soft from recent rains. I let out a deep breath, grateful for the lushness around me. The rain has been a blessing. Farmers' hearts are lighter and horses are thriving and the land feels alive again. In this serene moment, I'm joined not in person, but in spirit by April Mahoney. She's halfway across the world in San Diego, her voice a beacon of warmth and curiosity through the call. April's energy reaches across time zones and continents, carrying with it a sense of shared purpose. Jodi-ann, April begins, her voice smooth, rich and resonant. You're here in Queensland under that big tree with your animals. Around you, tell me, what does this moment mean to you? I close my eyes for a second, letting the sounds and the smells of the paddock sink in. When I speak, my words carry the grounding energy of where I sit. This moment is everything, I say, my hand resting lightly on the grass beside me. It's peace, it's gratitude, and it's connection. It's knowing that the ground beneath me, the tree above me, and the animals around me are all part of something much bigger. They hold a wisdom that we're often too busy to notice. I've come to understand that life doesn't have to rush. Healing doesn't have to rush. It's in moments like this that we find grace. April lets out a hum of agreement, and I hear her tapping her pen against her notepad, the way she does when she's deep in thought. You've talked before about healing, about how wounds don't define us. Sitting there now, surrounded by so much life, how do you connect that idea to this moment? I smile, glancing over at Jack, my horse, as he shifts slightly to find a patch of grass that's just right. Healing is all about energy, I begin. It's about reclaiming the parts of ourselves that we've left behind in pain, in fear, or in anger. Since 2009, every choice that I've made, every misstep, every victory has brought me here, to this exact moment under this tree. The body keeps the score of everything we've been through, and it's only when we pause, when we truly listen, that we start to heal. I've learned to say, I am healing, I am healed. Those words aren't just affirmations, they're acts of me taking my power back. There's a pause, the kind that April knows how to create so effortlessly. It's not empty, it's intentional, a moment to let the words settle. I love that, she finally says. But tell me, Jodi-ann, what role does kindness play in all of this? Because if there's one thing I know about you, it's that kindness is your cornerstone. I laugh softly, looking at Macy and Scout as they give up the flies and flop back down onto the grass. Kindness is everything, I say simply. It's the language that transcends all barriers. But the kind of kindness I'm talking about, it's not transactional. It's not about being nice so that someone owes you. It's about listening, really listening when someone shares their story. It's giving them the same space and time that you'd hope for yourself. Everyone has a story, April. Everyone deserves to be heard, without judgment, without an agenda. The bird songs swell in the background, and for a moment, the only sound in the call is nature's symphony. You make it sound so simple, April says softly, and yet you and I both know how hard it is for people to truly let go of their limiting beliefs and step into that kind of grace. Oh, it's hard, I agree, but it's worth it. Cutting ties to those beliefs is an act of self-love. When we free ourselves from the stories that no longer serve us, we step into our authentic power. And that's what empowerment really is. It's taking your power back and choosing to rewrite that narrative. April's voice is thick with emotion when she replies, Jodi-ann is speaking to a global village right now, people from all walks of life, all around the world. They're listening to your words under that tree in Queensland. If there's one thing that you could let them know, one truth that you know for sure, what would it be? I take a deep breath, feeling the cool grass under my palm, hearing Jack's soft chewing and the gentle hum of the paddock around me. I tell them this, I say finally. You are always supported, whether it's by the ground beneath you, the people who love you, or something greater that we can't always see. Your prayers, your dreams, and your hopes are heard. Trust that, trust yourself, and most of all, trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment to grow, to heal, and to thrive. The call ends, but the moment stays. The world around me feels as alive and present as it did when we began. A reminder that even across oceans, connection is always possible.
I
I've got
am
goosebumps.
too. I felt the power there. But you know what is so special is that you took the time to peel back the layers, only meeting me for 15, 20 minutes and listening to my voice and grabbing my texture and creating a story. Again, creating a symphony. I have goosebumps and I'm so honored. And I know that you can do that for many others. It was just soft and easy and simplistic. It wasn't therapeutic or cosmetic.
Mhm.
I really felt that you took the time to know me in a matter of minutes, and I'm really honored by that. And if you can do that with me, I can only imagine what you can do with others. You talk about a podcast. I think that this would be great. I think your voice inflection is beautiful, your communication skills, your sincerity, your heart is there. And that's what people need right now. We need to be grounded. We need to have some sensibility. Everything is so chaotic.
It
All
is.
world. People are choosing to be angry. They're not choosing love. They are ingrained in this, I don't know, a sea of ugliness, and we're drowning. They have people like you that help us rise like the phoenix from the ashes. It makes us feel like we can soar. And I thank you for that. I really do. You did a wonderful job. So tell me, are you looking to be more of a speaker? I know that you have many books. I can hear them inside of you. What are you going to
Mm.
do with these gifts and talents?
By using the stage, the global stage, I'd like to do more speaking and weaving stories into that opportunity to reach more people and spread the light.
Hmm. Well, I could see you doing monologues. I could see you doing short stories, stage plays. This could just go on and on and on. So we don't want to just limit it there. Please
No.
tell my brains how they can get in contact with you, to work with you, to invite you to come and speak to audiences or even to individuals that need someone that is going to help guide them and help them figure out who it is they truly aspire to be.
Okay, so my website is jodiannintuitive.com. So www.jodiannintuitive.com. And that's the best way to find me on the web. I'm also on Instagram, Jodi-ann Intuitive, LinkedIn, Facebook, and WhatsApp. I can be, all of those sites have my WhatsApp as well.
Wow. Well, we are going to reach out to you and embrace you. Um,
Mm.
Let me ask you some fun questions, though. How about we do that? Because we
Okay.
to a serious level. If you could be an animal, any animal, what animal would you opt to be and why?
I would like to be a dolphin. And not only are they super intelligent, but they've got that balance of work and play. So they're fun. They're super fun. They love to play. They can also do a job. And I'm drawn to the ocean. I'm drawn to water. So the dolphin would be my animal of choice.
If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Have to be the coffee machine. Did you know that coffee actually is one of the ways that I protect my energy? So I have a ritual every day. A ritual is different to a routine. A routine is, showering and feeding yourself. My ritual is actually meditating in the morning. Then I ground to protect my energy. And so grounding, I go out onto the grass and just get myself out in nature. And the protection, you can actually protect your energy by caffeine. And I spray my perfume on my heart chakra. So on my heart chakra, and then also on my back, where on the opposite side, that's a form of protection. Because your energy is so important to you. And I talk to people that I work with around just protecting that energy daily and making sure that at the end of the day, they call that energy back to them. Anywhere they've dispersed it, anywhere someone's taken it, any judgment, any opinion, anywhere they've lost energy, any energy vampires that they've encountered, that they call that back. They call that energy back so that they can restore over their night's sleep.
Well, I did a lot of that when I was in Hawaii. I did a lot of grounding.
Mm.
The sand is so different there than it is here in San Diego. It was brown and it was full of coral. It was just wonderful because the waves bring so much to the shore. And I kept hearing source energy God say, bury your feet, bury.
Mm.
And and I buried my feet in the sand, and I was having a hip problem. And
Mhm.
when I got up, it was completely gone. It seemed like all the negative energy and bad ions went right into the sand. So I totally understand what you mean about grounding, um,
Mm.
connecting with yourself, just being silent, just being present, being aware.
Mhm.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
My favorite flower in my garden is gardenia, and it's just that sweet smell. I don't know, it's the smell that resonates for me. I love it. I adore it.
It is it, and you know what? For some reason I've had a little problem with mine. I think I've given mine a little bit too much water. So I want to learn to make my gardenias grow. If you
Mhm.
have a conversation with yourself back when you were 25 years old, what would you say to yourself?
I would say to trust and surrender. As humans, the hardest thing for us is to let go of fear and control. And that comes up throughout your life. But to trust and surrender keeps you present and ensures that your energy is in the here and now. and that you're living life in present time and enjoying the moment, being grateful, being compassionate, having love, having forgiveness, having grace, all those beautiful things that mean that we're actually in alignment and that we're living our best life.
Right. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from your journey with cancer?
My biggest lesson was that when you have adversity, that you can still rise, that I survived it, and I always held hope in my heart, but you really realize there's no control. Like, you really have no control of anything. And the more that you try to control and micromanage things, the more anxious you become. So going into that space, using a lot of meditation, positive affirmations, I did Tai Chi throughout my treatment. I would find opportunities to laugh. Laughter really is a medicine. I would wear bright lipstick to chemo. I was the only person at chemo with bright lipstick, and the nurses and the other patients would hedge bets as to what color I'd be wearing that day, just to make someone else smile. And smiles are free.
Absolutely. And gratitude is,
Gratitude.
gratitude is attitude, and it will raise you. It will allow you to soar. And you have soared in my heart. Again, I am just so honored by what you wrote, by the work that you do, by the beautiful smile that you have, the compassion that you have. Not only that you've healed yourself, because you could have just chose to do anything, but you chose to pour into others. And to have you grace someone's stage, to have you there to tell your story, and for you to embrace them with your love and your wisdom, I think is a true honor. So, Brains, again, reach out. I'm going to put all of Jodi-ann's information at the back of the interview. We're going to run this interview several times. We would love to have you come. I'd love, to host an event here in San Diego, California. Have you ever been to California?
I did when I was about 5, but I haven't been back.
Well, you need to come here. So we need to figure out what.
I would love that. And I would love to have the opportunity to create more stories for more people. So reach out.
Yeah, I mean that was just beautiful. That was really beautiful. And to do a book and even create your own anthology, give people their story, their testimony, and you create that. That's a very unique idea. We'll talk about that offline. But until then, Brains, I need you to go in and love, like, share, and subscribe here on The Edge. We have all kind of creative writers. We have thought provoking conversations. We have redemption, we have love, we have laughter, we have food, we have finance, anything that you want. We've got it. About 2,000 episodes. We are going to be moving over to Spreaker. All of the information will be provided. Blog Talk is going to disband, but that does not mean that you will be lost. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on anywhere on the planet. Just Google On the Edge with April Mahoney. Thank you so much, Jodi-ann, for being here with me. I value you and appreciate you.
Thank you. And you. And when you trust and surrender, people find you. And you found me, April, and I'm forever grateful for my first ever podcast.
Oh, well, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day, Brains. We care about you.